to meet you, ministers, permanent secretaries, government officials, and my colleagues. I'd like to start off with a joke. I know you've had a long afternoon, so I thought I'd break it up a bit. It makes me less nervous as well. You know, there was 3 ladies. They were in their 90s. Their husbands had died, and they were sisters. And they were living together, and the 96-year-old was on the 2nd floor, and she was going to take a bath. And she dipped her toe into the water, and she yelled down to her sisters, "Sisters, I forgot if I was getting in the bath or out of the bath." And the 94-year-old sister said, "Okay, I'll come up and get you." So she walks up the stairs, and midway up the stairs, she yells down to her other sister and says, "Oh, dear sister, I can't remember if I was going up the stairs or down the stairs." And so the 92-year-old, this is the fresh-faced 92-year-old, she's shaking her head in dismay, knocks on wood and says, "I hope I don't get that forgetful." "Okay, sister, as soon as I grab the door, I'll come up and help you." Oh, memories are a bad thing. Takes a little bit, but then it's fun, right? I really am excited to introduce you to Teachworld. But before I introduce you to Teachworld, I need you to know my journey, how we came to Teachworld. So I'm going to speak a little bit about TMI, and we're here as well, Teachers Media International. It seems like a long time ago, and I feel like it actually was. It was 20 years ago. I was a special needs teacher. And I'm Canadian by heritage, so I'm from like the land of the free, loads of space. And I was dropped into Lower Manhattan in New York City. It was a big culture shock. I specialize in autism and Down syndrome. That was my specialty. And I was given the most amazing mentor. I was coached, I was given courses, I was being assessed, I had to do exercises. That year, I learned more than I had in all the formal training I had done. And that planted a seed for me to be able to pay it forward, to be able to give someone the same experience. I stood taller, I took more pride in my craft, I became hungrier, I became more excited. That's what we want to give to our teachers. That's what I want to give somebody else. So I did. I became departments of head for special needs, and I did all that. And then I learned, oh my word, it costs so much money. There has to be a better way. So in 2012, I founded TMI, Teachers Media International. And this was another big learning journey. At TMI, we have our own platform. It doesn't, if you as a government looked at it, you would say it's actually Zimbabwe's government, because we make it look and feel like something you would know, powered by TMI in small letters. But we focus on face-to-face learning. We blend it. We accredit with universities and other accrediting bodies around the world, so that piece of paper means something. And we also believe in ongoing coaching and mentoring. We have a coach's corner. That teacher can't get away from us. We're always on them. Now, as you can imagine in governments, and you can probably empathize, at TMI, we have a technology department, we have a creative department that does videos, we have an education department that curriculum maps, we have another education department that builds curriculum for teacher development, and we have our marketing section. And I noticed during our company that everybody was making their own goals, but our company was kind of not going in one direction. We weren't all focused on one thing. And that one thing is for Johnny, or Johnette, to keep things equal, is for us to remember who we're trying to work for. All of us at TMI, we're there for that student. We're there so they have the best step forward, so they become responsible citizens, so they're honest, so they're hardworking, so they become innovative. And I didn't feel that we were all going in that direction. So we had one of these strategy sessions, you know, the touchy-feely kind, where you all want to feel good about yourself, you all hold hands at the end. But you know, when we did it, we really sat there. We really wanted to make sure we were making a difference. So we challenged ourselves, and we decided on 4 virtues. And I used the acronym PACE, you know, at a good pace. And the first one is pragmatism. We wanted to give solutions to governments that were pragmatic. They were honest, straightforward, and they were where you are and where you want to go. Pragmatism was our first word. And second, we wanted to do Accountability. If I say to you by 2020 that I can increase your student results, that I can increase teacher attendance, that I can increase teachers making the own content by 40%, I got a hand on heart be able to say I can do that. We have to be accountable. Then there's courage. My word, here we are. To be in education takes courage. To go some areas that are tricky takes courage. But really, for us to be courageous, it's about that Johnny. And sometimes what we do have to fight for those Johnnies, we can't always be politically correct. We can't always be popular. We can't always follow the mainstream. We have to be courageous to be able to do the right thing. And sometimes that takes a little bit of courage. And the last is empathy. I'm not talking about sympathy. I'm not about charity cliches. I think they're ridiculous. I think they're overused. I'm talking about being able to understand where you're coming from, where you, the permanent secretary, are coming from. My dad was a minister of education. I can kind of see what it was like as a daughter growing up with one, but I don't know what it's like to be one. I need to understand how I can work in your path so that we're all successful. I need our teachers to understand what your teachers feel like when they wake up in the morning and when they go to bed. I need our teachers to understand what it's like for those children when they wake up in the morning, their journey to school and what they have to do after school. I need it all to be understood. I need them to have empathy. And so it was a very cathartic exercise for me because what I realized on this journey was, you know what, TMI alone, we are great implementers, but we cannot do it alone. If we want to foster real change, working with government, building plans, raising money, helping with infrastructure, building our partners, talking about curriculum resources, we needed to do something else. So we looked long and hard, and I was also mentored long and hard. This wasn't a soul journey, I do have to say. I'm a bit stubborn. We opened up Teachworld. So here we are. We're Teachworld. And we are working with governments to pave the road. You all know, because I've spoken to a lot of you, I've visited a lot of your countries, you all know where you are, what needs to be done, and the high-level framework. You all know it. What we're there to do is to come and grab hold. You can outsource this to us and make us accountable. The complications of resources, politics, and let's be honest, money are hindering progress. And let's be frank, this is stopping Johnny from learning how to read at his right level. It's stopping Johnny to learn how to pass, to be able to pass. It's stopping Johnny from having a nutritious meal and probably to be safe. It is hindering the disengaged teachers. They're more disengaged, and it's disengaging those teachers that do care because now they feel like failures. This is not just a Canadian issue. This is not just a British issue or an African issue. These are global education issues, and I believe that with the power of Teachworld, we can help fill and close this circle. Teachworld is alive to serve you. Ministries of Education and Technology, and we're dabbling in health. We are here to listen. We are here to collaborate. Money needs to be raised. We're going to help raise it. We have a couple family offices that are going to be matching money for the money that we raise. You need help with infrastructure. We're going to bring our already solidified partners in to fulfill this circle. We want to work with you for plans to be activated. That's such an important word, activated, because it means to do. It means to do now. It doesn't mean to sit here and chat and clap, and then next year we say we're going to do it this year. It means we're going to activate it. We want to be the background singers. And if you knew me at all, you knew this is a long journey for me because growing up, I liked to be the lead in every play. I was the Johnny Appleseed. I was every Oliver Twist. But in this journey, I learned that we're the most effective when we are the background singers. We are here for you to achieve your targets, and even better, we want to achieve beyond your targets. So, you know what? We all know this. We've all spoken about it today, and actually, this digital literacy program is already using it. But increasing student results doesn't have one solution. New curriculum, new student resources, new policies, new teacher training. Folks, this is about agreeing that lifelong learning is forever, that we have to show our students using it, modeling our teachers, that the moment that teacher is not learning, they're retired. And we also have to teach our teachers how to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Because change and accountability, it is crazy uncomfortable. But we can't stop just in the classroom. This is really, really important. We got to be creative, and we have to learn to engage our parents, our grandparents, our uncles, our aunts. We have to start building a bridge to these communities, not a valley. Teachworld is actually launching a very exciting campaign in January, doing something very different for these girls. We're engaging dads. It's called, this is a bit cheesy, but it's really catchy, Be Cool, Keep Your Kids in School. And we've got a lot of very special football players who are going to be hosting a lot of creative content, and we're going to woo those fathers in. Get a message a little more differently. We are thinking outside the box. Now, this year, we are about acceleration. I believe it in every bone in my body. This is the year for acceleration. Money, yeah, absolutely. Teachworld is being very bold here. We have 3 big countries that we're working on, and we are going to be raising $300 million for education for these projects. It's a lot of money. We're working very, very hard. We have a different approach. It may contradict, but I was always a math teacher, and you can never make up your own math equations, so I love that I could do this. We are about scale plus localization equals sustainability. They should contradict each other, but actually, they're the only way that we can walk ourselves out of a job. It's the only way for us to be able to say, you don't need us anymore. That's the music that we're all waiting to hear. So we have big projects. And you know what, next year, they're going to talk about the big projects that we're going to have. They're going to be the ones up here telling you what the great things they're doing. But I wanted to tell you about another example of one amazing woman. You know, I have this group of friends, and they own a mushroom company in Galicia, in Spain. And they came up to me and they said, Angela, you know, we want you to look at this girl's video. Now, this mushroom company, you got to understand, they have mushroom chocolate, mushroom honey, mushroom face cream. There's not mushroom for anything else. You know, they really have it all covered. But they also focus on the medicinal component. And they have pills for worms and for, all with mushrooms, for malaria, for cancer treatments. And so when they came to me and they handed me this videotape, to be honest, I do see a lot of videotapes, maybe 5 seconds. I sat and watched this girl for 5 seconds. Her name is Cheeto. She's from Zimbabwe. This is going to bring to scale. I'm going to show you her video in a second, but I want to show you an example of scale. This girl took the idea of mushrooms to feed her younger children because their parents had died. And she taught them all through school with mushrooms. And now she's actually bringing her, she was going to teach 50 farmers how to do what she did. But we said, you know what? That move you. Come on. In 2 years now, behind Cheeto, she's going to train 10,000 farmers. She's going to not only train them, but we're going to train the teachers to teach the kids. So a lot of kids are going to be trained. We're going to be working with not just one country. Zimbabwe will benefit a lot, but it's going to be 10 countries. And when we talk about scale, it's not just about massive number. We're not talking about education anymore. We're talking about agriculture. We're talking about health. We're talking about trade. We're talking about processing. That's scale. That's exciting. That's one goal, big determination, an amazing vision. And I want to show you her video now.
I remember the look on the face of my little brother when he was hungry. And I also remember that pain that comes with hunger.
It is one of those things that still causes you pain even long after the person feels much better, as long as that image is in your head. He was hungry, he was sick, he was very, very fragile, and the days when I went to bed, when I thought when I wake up he's dead.
I lost my mother to AIDS when I was 7 years old.
And I lost my chance to be a child. My name is Chido, and I come from Zimbabwe.
So I really took up the responsibility of a mother, a father, a sister, a grandchild, everything.
At the age of 11, something wonderful happened.
I got an invitation to learn to farm mushrooms. And this was an invitation by what is called the Zeri Foundation.
I went. I remember I was barefoot, my clothes in a plastic bag, and for the first time, I could grow my own mushrooms and cook them and have a plate full of mushroom all to myself.
You take a lot of waste material, soak it in water, mix it with the mushroom seed. You don't have to dig forever anymore. When I had enough money left that I could pay school fees for other kids, and I said, this is going to change my life, and I want to use it to change other people's lives.
And I set out to teach as many people as possible to grow mushrooms, sell them, and earn income.
In this community where everybody puts food on the table by digging in the garden or working in the field, and suddenly there's a bunch of girls who are growing food indoors.
The 15 of us became the most popular people in the village for the first time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Angela, stay there for a moment.
All right, yeah.
I've just, on behalf of our African governments, I just know they'll probably have a couple of questions on their mind. You mentioned $300 million. This is a huge amount of money.
Yeah.
I realise this wouldn't come in one go. And you mentioned 3 countries. What is the process for the raising of this money and the distribution of this money? What is the time frame and where that money is going to go to these countries?
So we have taken a very interesting approach. We have built relationships with bilaterals. So we have the typical suspects like World Bank, USAID, the Canadian government, etc. But that money, as you know, takes a long time. There's a lot of red tape for that. So we have worked hard with Investec, who helps raise money through a lot of interesting CSRs that you probably never even knew existed. And we work with a lot of family offices. These family offices are not just in Africa, because we do work hard in East Africa. We have a big presence with family offices, and in South Africa. Not South Africa, the country, but in Southern Africa. And then we are working with other foundations as well, because we're trying to say enough with programs, we want to go national, and we're using that as a platform. And we're letting family offices who run businesses and CSRs who run businesses are really keen on showing scale. So when we say to you, yeah, on the dotted line, we sign a contract, we'll guarantee that we can start that project within 6 months from the signing of the contract. The money, of course, doesn't come all at once, because we're accountable for that money. We have to make our targets to keep getting that money, but that is the timeline and what we're talking about.
Okay, so what you're saying, the family officers, they need to see that the targets are being met.
That's
and
right.
they can carry on their philanthropic process.
That's right, yeah.
I think let's give Angela a big round of applause. So.